For more than 40 years, Averett University's athletics programs have competed in the USA South. Now we begin a new era as a member of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. We will continue to build on our traditions. We'll continue to develop our student athletes into tomorrow's leaders as catalysts for positive change. With 24 NCAA and club varsity sports, we'll bring championship aspirations, high academic success, and a focus on community service. We bring first-class facilities, and we will continue to build for the future. We'll renew old rivalries and create new ones in the ODAC. We'll do it as one team, one family, one Averett.
Hello and welcome to Averett Sports Network. My name is Chris Richmond, and we have a solo broadcast today. We're bringing you today's matchup between the Averett men's basketball team versus the Randolph College men's basketball team here today in the Grant Center. The Wildcats versus the Cougars, the battle of the Big Cats here today as we're getting ready to do national anthem and starting lineups. Averett's coming in this one 8-12, 4-7 in the ODAC. The Wildcats coming in 5-14, 1-9 in the ODAC. So today should be a good one. We're getting into the national anthem. We'll be right back with Averett Sports Network after the national anthem and starting lineups.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's run through today's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Wildcats. At guard, the junior from Johnson City, Tennessee, number 3, Jordan Phillips McClure. At guard, a senior from Front Royal, Virginia, number 5, Ty Cleverman. At guard, a junior from Salisbury, North Carolina, number 11, Cole Perry. At center, a junior from Martinsville, Virginia, number 13, Landon Wagner. At guard, a senior from Southern Virginia, number 31, Jerry Goodman. Randolph's coached by Pete Hamilton, with his assistant Bland Hodges, Rodney Shepard, David Miller, and Charles Holston. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce today's starters for your Cougars of Averett University. At guard, a sophomore from McNutt, North Carolina, number 3, Clay Hodges. At guard, a junior from Virginia Beach, Virginia, number 5, Jordan Lewis. At forward, a junior from Greensboro, North Carolina, number 12, Jason Sellers. At guard, a senior from Charlotte, North Carolina, number 20, Rhoda Melton. At forward, a senior from Charlotte, North Carolina, number 35, Miles Walden. Head coach Framer, in his 9th season in the state of Indiana, his assistant coaches, Nathan and John Bush. The Cougars trainer is Gina Cohen. Fans, members of the WIC, NCAA Division III student athletes, coaches, and spectators, we request your cooperation by supporting individuals, participants, and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, or team representatives will not be tolerated and our grounds removed from the Grant Center. Consumption and possession of alcoholic beverages is prohibited.
And we just got through national anthem and starting lineups. We are back here with Averett Sports Network, approaching the tip-off here tonight, or this afternoon in the Grant Center. Coming off in the middle, we're going to have number 13, Landon Wagoner, and also number 12 for Averett, Jason Sellers, going for the tip-off today. The Cougars in white, the Wildcats in all black, as the tip-off is won by the Wildcats, and they get a chance to set up their offense first here. Be a play caller for the Wildcats today. It's going to be Goodman. He's going to dish it off to Klingerman. Now to McLeod. Back to Goodman. Goodman slings it over to the wing. McFloyd driving through. Wagoner goes up for a layup, rebounded by Paulden. And a good defense of possession for the Cougars as they're going to set up their offense here. Now Milton swinging over to Hodges in the wing. Back to Lewis, over to Milton. Cougars just passing it around here as Milton's going to drive through. Floater attempt by Milton. Bouncing around. It's going to go off the rim and rebounded by Wagner. Now the Wildcats in transition here. Great defense by Hodges to get down in transition to rip the ball away. And the Cougars get another look at offense here. Now Milton's going to swing it over to Lewis. Lewis now to Hodges. Hodges on the right wing. It's going to go back to Milton. Milton swinging over to Lewis. Cougars just trying to pass it around, looking for the open man. Now Sellers in the deep post, back to Lewis. Lewis, corner three, open, is good, and the Cougars strike first from the corner, taking a 3-point lead here in today's matchup. Now Wagner in the low post, defended closely by Paulden. He's going to go up. A hook shot of his own off the mark. Sellers on the rebound, the Cougars pushing the other way. Now Milton down to Sellers in the post. Sellers finding Hodges. Hodges thought about the shot to Paulden. Nice passes by the Cougars. Finds Lewis. The three is off the mark, but great hustle by Lewis following the shot and keeping it alive. Now Milton, mid-range shot wide open, is good. And the Cougars jump up 5-0. Just 2 minutes into the first half. Now Goodman over to Klingerman. Klingerman now over to McLeod. Back to Goodman. Goodman on the left wing, setting the screen is Wagner. Goodman now driving through contact, off the mark, rebounded by Wagner. He's going to pass it out to get another look here. Now McLeod for three. It's going to be off the mark, rebounded by Lewis. And the Cougars so far on defense have been holding it down, not allowing any points so far. As Sellers goes up for a floater, it's going to be off the mark. Now the Wildcats pushing in transition here, pass down to McLeod. McLeod for the mid-range is good. So now the Wildcats finally find themselves on the board, approaching 3 minutes into the game. Score now 5-3. Milton passes down to Sellers. Sellers now in the post. Hook shot's going to be off the mark, rebounded by Perry. He's going to get over to Goodman to reset, to set up a play here for the Wildcats. Excuse me, it wasn't 5-3. That was a long two, 5-2. Now Goodman driving through, doesn't get the layup to go, but draws a foul. I believe it's going to be called on Hodges.
Jerry Goodman at the line for Randolph.
First free throw here is good for Goodman, as we have a few subs here today as Bryson McLaughlin checks into the game along with number 44, Furman Borbua Watson as well. And a few subs here for the Wildcats. Number 24 now checking in the game, Hunter Verling. Along with him is going to be number 1, Rayvon Graham. Now McLaughlin passing it back out to Hodges. Hodges thought about the three, did not take it. Another pump fake for Hodges. He swings it over to Lewis. Back to Hodges. And the Cougars doing a great job of just passing this thing around to find the open man. And now McLaughlin through contact getting the layup to go. And then he has this opportunity at a three-point play. One of the things McLaughlin's known for is just going up tough through contact and getting those tough layups to go. As the free throw is off the mark, he does get the layup to go, though, so the Cougars take a 3-point lead now. It's now Perry swings it to the corner to Klingerman. And he's good for 3 to tie everything up 7-7. So Wildcats started out slow on offense. They started to pick it up here recently. It's now Milton on the left wing, swings over to Hodges. Hodges now back to Lewis. Hodges now to Milton. Milton now for 3. It's going to be off the mark, rebounded by Klingerman. And now the Wildcats pushing the other way. McLeod now passing it down to Graham, now to Perry. Perry back to Klingerman. Great defense by the Cougars so far in this possession. As McLeod now taking the 3s off the mark. And Klingerman comes up and takes a tough charge there on Lewis to get the ball back there in Wildcat possession. So the Wildcats so far just hit a switch. So they came out dropping down early 5-0. So they now tied everything up 7-7, and now they have a possession here with a chance to take it. Their first lead of the matchup here is Klingerman checking out now, checking back into the game. It's going to be Micah Kreider. It's now Graham, defended closely by Hodges. He dishes it off to Kreider. Now McLeod for 3. It's going to be off the mark. McLaughlin went up for the rebound, jumped too early, but Balboa Watson fighting for the rebound, and he gets the rebound. A lot of energy there. You hear the bench getting fired up. As that was good hustle by Watson to go and get that rebound. Foul was going to be called on number 30, Kreider. So everybody was fighting for that rebound. Now Lewis swinging it down. So now checked into the game, Jalen Rowell. Balboa Watson now in the post, going up through contact. It's off the mark. McLaughlin tip in. It's off the mark. Cougars still fighting for the ball here. And I believe their jump ball is going to be the call, as both teams got hyped for that energy trying to get that board. Possession arrow will be in favor of the Cougars, though, so they keep the ball here. Hodges thought about the 3. Fake, tried to drive in, but great defense there by Perry to get a hand up and block that shot. It's going to be off on Perry, though. Cougars still with possession here with 20 seconds on the shot clock. So plenty of times for the Cougars to go in and set up a play. Excuse me, not 20 seconds, 16 seconds. Still enough time to get a play off here. It's now Lewis. Thought about the 3, swings it over to Rowell. Rowell now to Hodges, deep 3 by Hodges. He's been faking it at the start of the game. Knew he was going to pull one here eventually. And another great effort by Balboa Watson to go down and try to at least fight for a board. He causes a jump ball there, putting the position arrow back in the Cougars' favor. We now have Graham bringing the ball up here for the Wildcats, and now in the game for the Wildcats going to be Kyle Ferguson, number 0. It's Kreider defended by Lewis in the post. Going up with it, it's going to be off the mark, rebounded by Balboa Watson. And the Cougars have been holding strong so far in defense to this point after the Wildcats went on a little run to tie it up. Cougars going back to this pass across the 3-point line. Wait until an open man surfaces. Now Hodges hitting Lewis. Lewis Back to Hodges, over to McLaughlin. McLaughlin now drop stepping through. Layups off the mark. Tip is off the mark as well. And now this is Graham who comes up with the rebound here for the Wildcats, pushing the tempo the other way. It's now Perry driving through on McLaughlin. And McLaughlin, great defense, staying straight up and gets the double hand block there for the Cougars. As we go into our first timeout of the game, everything tied up 7-all with 13 minutes and 13 seconds left in the first half. We'll be right back with Averett Sports Network after this quick timeout.
Inclusive, encompassing, inspiring. Averett University provides all you need for a future you deserve through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs like our newest programs in entrepreneurship and psychology, with more coming soon. With affordable tuition and 24/7 support, it all leads to you becoming a catalyst for positive change. Visit allaverett.com. Averett University. Are you all in?
And we are back after the timeout. Everything's still tied up here, as it has been a defensive battle ever since the Wildcats went on a little run to tie it up, back and forth defensively. As we have a tip by Roel on the inbound. Bryce Shaw got another hand on it, and the Wildcats will be forced to inbound again. So 19 seconds on the shot clock. Wildcats still have plenty of time to set up a play here, as Goodman now on the right wing, defended closely by Lewis. He kicks it out to Ferguson. Ferguson now looping around. Fadeaway jumper is blocked by Roel, but a late foul is called on Jalen Roel on the closeout here. That's going to be his first foul of the game. It will send Ferguson to the line to shoot two, with a chance to give the Wildcats their first lead of the matchup here, 7 minutes into the first half. Now in the game for the Wildcats as well, as the first free throw is off the mark. It's number 10, Ryan Davis. The second free throw is good, and now the Wildcats take a 1-point lead. It's now Lewis over to Shaw, back to Lewis. Roel getting it down to Sellers. And three-point shot off the mark. Great effort by McLaughlin to get the rebound. Tried to keep it inbounds, though, and it finds the hands of Kreider. Great defense by Lewis, keeping it alive. Roel now in transition. Gets it to Lewis. Lewis kicks it out to Shaw. And the Cougars are just going to reset here and set up their offense. As Roel takes a three of his own off the mark. And the Wildcats so far, which have been working for him, is sitting in that zone, forcing the Cougars to shoot. So now Ferguson hits a three-point shot, so 4 straight points for Ferguson. Now taking a 4-point lead. As Roel now to Shaw in the corner, and I believe they're going to say Shaw's foot was out of bounds. Couldn't get a good look from up here in my position. But that will be another turnover for the Cougars, and we'll give the ball back to the Wildcats now with a 4-point lead. As now in the game, it's going to be number 32, Jim Lawrence, for the Cougars. also Milton checking into the game for Lewis. Now Goodman working on Milton, driving through. Layup won't go, and rebounded by Sellers. Good defensive possession there for the Cougars. After a turnover, as Shaw now is going to swing it over to Milton. Milton back to Shaw, and the Cougars still just passing around this zone, trying to find the open man. Is now Lawrence for three. Going to be off the mark. Tough rebound by Sellers. Puts it back up. Cannot get the layup to go, but he will go to the line to shoot two. Great effort there by Jason Sellers to go up and get the offensive board and try to get more points for his squad. So Cougars a little slow trying to get their offense going, but the offensive rebounds and the second chance effort points definitely give them a boost trying to get some points to stay in this matchup. So now McLeod, Perry, and Klingerman all check back into the game as the free throw for Sellers is good. Now Goodman bringing up the ball here for the Wildcats, defended by Milton. Cougars staying in man here as now Perry gets it to Goodman. Goodman driving through and finishes with the right. Great finish there by Goodman on a wide open lane to take back a 4-point lead. Now Roel passes it down to Lawrence, and Lawrence hits the mid-range shot, finding the weak spot in that zone. And he gets the Cougars back within two. Now Perry swings it over to Klingerman. Back to Perry, defended closely by Lawrence. Spinning back through. And Sellers reaching around on Wagoner, getting a poke. And it goes out of bounds. Good defense by the Cougars. You feel the energy getting a little bit back to how they started off the game. Klingerman to pass in the ball here. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Quick shot here for the Wildcats off the mark. Rebounded by Sellers. Now the Cougars pushing the other way. So Milton resetting here, setting up the play here for the Cougars. Sellers driving through. Is going to be poked away by Wagoner. Clay Hodges coming back into the game for the Cougars, checking out Bryce Shaw, and for the Wildcats, number 1, Rayvon Graham checking back into the game. He's going to be taking out Goodman. So Lawrence thought about the three, elected not to take it. He's going to get it down to Sellers. Sellers now through contact, gets the shot up, but it's going to be off the mark, and Wagner comes up with the rebound here. Wildcats now pushing the other direction. Graham looked like it's going to be a fast break. He's going to elect to circle back out, reset here for the Wildcats. He brings it up the left side. He goes to Perry in a deep post here on Roel. He gets it back out to Wagner. Wagner now working on Sellers. Great defense by Sellers, getting a hand up, and he deflects it. Looked like Wagner was trying to back down and go up with the right. Sellers gets the block, and it goes out on McLeod. And the Cougars take possession here. Now Lawrence checks out the game. Coming back into the game is going to be Paulden. So the Cougars go back to the two big look here as Hodges gets it over to Roel. Now to Milton. Hodges now thought about the shot. He's going to pass it back to Milton. Milton now to Roel. Back to Hodges. Hodges pass fake, gets it to Paulden. Paulden to Milton. Down to Sellers. Sellers through contact, gets the hook to go. And if you're the Cougars, that's a man you want to get going is Jason Sellers, as he's been playing lights out for the Cougars all year. 11.1 points per game and also 8 rebounds per game, as he's been one of the leading offensive scorers here for the Cougars. As Wagner coming back out to the game, coming back out of the game, coming back into the game is going to be Verling. So Wildcats sitting in that zone trying to take out Sellers in that equation and forcing the Cougars to shoot. It's now Milton over to Hodges. Hodges back to Roel. Roel over to Milton. Now Sellers through contact again. It's off the mark, but great effort by Paulden to get the offensive rebound. Now Milton, shot fake from the three, dribbles up, and mid-range is good for Milton. And the Cougars now take back a 2-point lead with just under 8 minutes left to go in the first half. It's now McLeod. Great dribble move to get open. Shots off the mark, rebounded by Milton, and now the Cougars pushing the other direction. Now Roel driving through, tries to finish with that right hand. It's going to be off the mark. And by the effort by Paulden, the ball gets poked out and hits Perry while he's out of bounds. So the Cougars will keep possession here. Paulden has been playing with great effort on the offensive glass. And I overheard head coach, Coach Duino, talking to his players, talking about the effort that Barboa Watson was given when he was in the game, causing 2 jump balls. He said we all need to be playing with that effort. So I think Paulden took that to heart, and he's playing with great effort as a mid-range jumper there for McLeod is going to be good. You're starting to see these Cougars play very aggressive on the offensive glass. It's now Hodges swinging it back over to Milton. Milton down to Sellers. Sellers back to Milton, over to Hodges. Cougars taking their time, trying to look for something to develop. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Paulden driving through, no foul call. It's going to be a block here for Verling. Bad pass, going to give the Cougars back the ball. Roel. Shot's going to be off the mark, rebounded by Sellers. Sellers now going back up through contact, off the mark. And it's going to be up. It's going to be off on the Wildcats. And again, we'll give the Cougars back the ball. It's going to lead to another timeout here. So we'll be right back here with Averett Sports Network after this quick break. And we are back with the Averett Sports Network here. 6 minutes and 38 seconds left to go in the first half. It's now McLaughlin back into the game for the Cougars along with Lewis. And for the Wildcats, Ferguson now checking back into the game. Everything tied up 15-15 as Milton gets a wide open shot from the top of the key. He's good. And he's been shooting it very effective from the field so far tonight. It's now Graham taking a mid-range shot. It's going to be off the mark. Rebounded, though, by the Wildcats. It ended up going to McLeod. Now 3-point shot for Ferguson. It's going to be off the mark. Rebounded by Perry. Perry now working in the post on McLaughlin. Kicks it out to McLeod. Now Verling passing it down to Perry. Perry going up tough through contact. It's going to be off the mark. Now the Cougars setting up their offense here. Now Milton kicking it out to Lewis. Lewis now back to Hodges. Lewis to Milton. He gets it down to Paulden. Back to Lewis. Over to Hodges. Hodges now for three. And a great ball movement for the Cougars pays off as they get a wide open three. And Clay Hodges knocks it down 21-15. The Cougars now take back a 6-point lead with 5 minutes and 22 seconds left in the first half. Now Ferguson on the wing. He's defended closely by a combination of Milton and Paulden. Now Perry driving through on McLaughlin, off the mark, rebounded by Lewis, and the Cougars starting to pick up a little bit of momentum here. Now Milton back to Lewis, over to Hodges on the right wing. The Cougars with a collection of passes this time. And on the loose ball, heads up play there by McLaughlin, as it was about to be a jump ball. Position arrow going to the Wildcats. Calls a timeout, so the Cougars will keep possession. It will be a 30-second timeout, so we'll just stay here for this quick intermission. As the Cougars starting to put it together on both sides, starting to hit from the field, hitting a couple three-pointers, and also getting it done on the defensive side as well. Wildcats not staying out of it, starting to get it done on the offensive glass of their own. Just can't get it to go through the hoop on the second chance effort, but playing a whole lot more aggressive on the boards. Have to believe that was a point of emphasis in that last timeout. It's now Milton inbounding the ball here. He goes to Hodges, down to Lewis. Back to Hodges. Hodges now driving through over to Lewis. Back to Hodges, over to Milton. Milton now for three. It's going to be off the mark. A tip by McLaughlin ends up to Milton, and now the Cougars get another second chance opportunity here. Cougars really taking their time, trying to be selective with the shots they take. So now Milton takes another three. It's going to be off the mark. McLaughlin tries to go up for the rebound, but it falls into the hand of McLeod. Now Ferguson for a three. He's good from the three-point line, and he brings it back within three. I believe that's his second three-point made of the game so far. Now Lewis kicks it out to Hodges. Hodges with a three of his own. It's going to be in for the Cougars. And he now has a pair of threes to bring it back to a 6-point lead. So far for the Cougars leading the way, though, is Milton, who has 7 points. It's now Verling. Nice bounce pass to Graham. Graham over to Kreider, through contact, off the mark, no call. On the floor, now the Cougars pushing the other way. Now Hodges from the other wing, this time off the mark though. Cougars still holding on to a 6-point lead. Now Graham dishing over to Kreider. Kreider now going to get it down to Verling, defended by Barboa Watson. Great defense by Barboa Watson. Now the Cougars pushing the other way. Lewis, coast to coast, off the mark. Rebound ends up going to Barboa Watson. He goes up with it, draws a foul, cannot get the layup to go, but he will go to the line to shoot two, and you hear everybody getting excited as he is definitely a crowd favorite here. Barboa Watson playing with great effort today as he goes to the line to shoot two here for the Cougars, try to tack on to the 6-point lead. First free throw is going to be off the mark, off the front of the rim. We're going to have a plethora of subs here as Perry comes back into the game, along with, for the first time, it's going to be number 22, Will Jamison, checking back in, and also Goodman back in for the Wildcats. And now checking into the game for the first time, it's going to be number 10, Jamil Carter Jr. for the Cougars. It's Furman's second free throw. It's going to be off the mark. And now Goodman pushing the other direction for the Wildcats. Now the Wildcats here. Goodman now driving through, defended closely by the Cougars. He goes through, puts a contested layup up. Tip in by Jamison's going to be off the mark, and now the Cougars pushing the other way. Lewis over to Carter. Carter now over to Lewis. Back to Carter. Carter now for three. Could be off the back of the rim. Rebound is pulled in there by Jamison. Now McLeod pushing the other way, goes through contact and gets the layup to go. And he brings it back within 4 here with 2 minutes left to go in the first half. The Wildcats starting to pick up a little bit of steam here. Now Rowell drived in, pass it back out to Lewis. Lewis, one dribble up for the mid-range and is good. He brings it back out to 6. The Cougars so far in this one not quite letting the Wildcats drive back in as McLeod goes up with the mid-range shot of his own. Off the mark, same team. And a little of the same team moment as that ball goes out. 2 guys fighting for the rebound. Coach Zuino is fired up. Cougars up 6 with 1:30 left to go in the first half. We'll be right back with Averett Sports Network after this timeout.
University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
And we are back with Averett Sports Network with 1:30 left to go in the first half. And this has just been a tale of who gets the rebound here, making the difference, as neither team really shooting particularly well from the field goal. Averett shooting 29%, the Wildcats shooting 24%, and the Cougars with a 4-board advantage over the Wildcats. And guess where that is? It is on the offensive glass, as before that defensive rebound, the Cougars and the Wildcats both had 14 rebounds apiece defensively, but offensive rebounds, Averett had 4 more offensive rebounds, and they're up 6 points. So that's 4 more chances that the Cougars had at second chance points, and it's making a difference so far in this first half. So now Sellers through contact is going to be ripped away by Jamison, and now the Wildcats pushing the other direction. McLeod tries to get it up to Goodman, and it's going to be too far right. It's going to be out of bounds, and the Cougars dodge a bullet there, getting the ball right back after a bad pass, as Klingerman's checking back into the game here for Ferguson. And also coming to the scorer's table and checking back in, it's going to be Rayvon Graham. He's going to be checking out Goodman. So now Rowell swings it over to Carter. Now to Lewis on the right side of the court. Back to Rowell, over to Carter. Cougars just patiently passing around, trying to find the open man. As Sellers now in the post. Perry had a hand on the ball, no jump ball called. It's now Rowell, pump fakes, dribbles up for the mid-range, tries to get it to go. It's going to be off the mark. And Sellers, first hand up on the board, trying to pull in the offensive board. Slips out his hand, but goes off a Wildcat defender. So the Cougars will keep the ball here with 25 seconds left on the clock as Jamison gets checked back out for Wagoner. And now Lewis, quick shot here for 3. Could be off the mark, follows his shot, gets in on the offensive board. And now the Cougars off the board. Clock was supposed to reset, and the Cougars were supposed, I believe, with how the time lined up, was supposed to get the final, potentially the final possession here, with no shot clock and just the game clock going. So Now Milton back into the game here for Averett. And the Cougars will get a potential last shot here with 12 seconds left on the clock. No shot clock in play here. So they're going to take their time here looking for an open shot. As Carter is open off the mark and fighting for the rebound is the Cougars. And Roel on the effort goes up and beats the buzzer with the putback of his own. Offensive board and 2 points for Roel to take it to the half with the 8-point lead. The Cougars on top of the Wildcats so far in this one, 28-20. We'll be right back with Averett Sports Network with the second half of play here shortly. Welcome back to Averett Sports Network. My name is Chris Richmond, and we are back here in action, second half of play in today's matchup between the Randolph College Wildcats and your Averett University Cougars. The Cougars on top right now, 28-20, following a buzzer-beating putback shot by Jalen Rowell. The Cougars coming in this one, leading the way for the Cougars is Raja Milton with 7 points, and for the Wildcats leading the way, it's going to be Kyle Ferguson with 7 points as well. Cougars with a quick turnover there on the first possession, giving possession back to the Wildcats. The Cougars coming in this one with a 7 rebound advantage over the Wildcats in the first half. Only one more rebound defensively. 15 defensive rebounds and 14 defensive rebounds for the Wildcats. But the Cougars, where the real advantage is on the offensive glass, out-rebounding the Wildcats after a three by McLeod to bring it back within 5. The Cougars out-rebounding on the offensive glass 11-5, 6-rebound advantage, which has really been the difference in this matchup. It's now Lewis at the top of the key, swings it over to Milton, back to Hodges, over to Milton, finding Sellers down the post. And the Cougars continuing this ball movement, trying to beat the zone here. So now the Cougars have 5 seconds on the shot clock here, trying to make something happen. It's Hodges on the inbound here. Gets it into Lewis. Lewis coming off the screen. 2 seconds. Pumps, gets a man in the air, trying to draw the foul. Gets the shot off and hits deep from the top of the key with a man in his face to bring it back to an 8-point lead. Nice shot there by Lewis for the Cougars. Now Goodman driving to the paint, kicks it back out to Perry. Perry now to Klingerman. Klingerman over to Wagoner. Wagoner defended by Paulden up in the post. And a nice post move by Wagoner to put up a hook shot to put up 2 and bring it back within 6. Now Lewis to set up the play here for the Cougars. Back to Milton, over to Lewis. Cougars moving the ball here. Hodges gets it down to Sellers. Now Hodges for 3 from the top of the key. It's going to be off the mark. Rebounded by Klingerman. Now pushing the tempo the other way. Gets it out to McLeod. McLeod now driving through. Gets it to Goodman. Goodman pumps, gets Milton in the air, but he's able to recover. Now McLeod for 3. Be off the mark. Now Wagoner with the offensive board puts it up. Paulden gets the defensive rebound. Perry gets in to cause the jump ball. A lot of contact there. Good heads up play there by Perry to force the jump ball and keep possession to the Wildcats on a rebound that was clearly in Paulden's hands. Now Klingerman to get it to McLeod. McLeod gets it over to Goodman at the top of the key. He's driving through on Hodges. A lot of contact, no call. He gets the layup to go to bring it back within 4. And you see how much this game means to both teams. This is getting chippy back and forth. Shots off the mark, rebounded by Wagoner. Now the Wildcats pushing the other direction. Klingerman driving through. He's going to get it to McLeod. McLeod now over to Wagoner. Great defense by Milton. The Wildcats just moving the ball around now. Klingerman driving through, puts a shot up. It's going to be off the mark, rebounded by Paulden. Paulden able to draw the foul on Wagoner. Now Rowell and also McLaughlin back into the game here for the Cougars. So now the Cougars have their two leading rebounders in the game. Jason Sellers with 8 rebounds per game, and also McLaughlin with 7. So now Milton gets it down to Sellers. Sellers through a lot of contact, puts it up. It's going to be off the mark, rebounded by Wagner. Now the Wildcats pushing the other direction. Goodman now with the ball. Deep shot, it's going to be off the mark, defended nicely by Milton. The Cougars pushing the other way. McLaughlin, nice move in the post to put a shot up. It's going to be off the mark. Sellers, though, on the second chance effort, gets the offensive board and puts up the layup over Wagner to take back a 6-point lead. Klingerman now with the ball, gets it over to Goodman. Goodman now working on Rowell, driving through. Milton able to get in on the ball as Goodman's driving through, and it forces a missed layup. Nice bounce pass by McLaughlin, getting it to Sellers, but good effort by Wagner to get the block shot there. Now the Wildcats pushing the other direction. McLeod now with the ball, working on Rowell. Nice move by McLeod. Floater is off the mark, rebounded by McLaughlin. Now the Cougars pushing the other way. The Cougars have been able to hold strong on defense so far the last few possessions. So now Rowell swings it over to Lewis. Now to Milton, back to McLaughlin, over to Lewis. Rowell now driving baseline, draws a foul, and Klingerman trying to close out. As Carter comes back into the game for the Cougars, along with Barboa Watson, and also for the Wildcats, Verling and Graham back into the game. 15 minutes and 19 seconds left to go in the second half. A lot of time still to be played in the second half. The Cougars with a 6-point lead. And this game pretty much on the same tempo as the first half. Both teams getting it done defensively. Not too much offense being played by either team. Nice move by Lewis to get through a wide open lane. Off the mark, tip in by Barboa. Watson's off the mark. So now the Wildcats with possession here. McLeod getting it down to Verling. Verling defended closely by Barboa Watson. Pass across to Graham. Now Klingerman driving through, gets it out to Graham again. Good defense by the Cougars. 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Pull-up jumper there for Klingerman is good. And now a timeout, first timeout of the second half. We'll be right back with the remainder of the second half after this quick break.
University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
We are back after that timeout with Averett Sports Network. The Cougars still holding on to a 4-point lead here, 33-29, with 14 and a half minutes left to go in the second half. So Wildcats still staying true to that zone there. It's Carter now, bounce pass down to McLaughlin. McLaughlin back to Carter, over to Rowell. Rowell sets his feet, takes a shot, and it's good for 3. Take back a 7-point lead here for the Cougars. The Cougars have led as much as 8 here today. Perry got tangled up there trying to wrap around. And Verling's pass going to find nobody. It's going to go out of bounds. Cougars taking their time, bringing the ball up here. Carter back to Roel. Roel now. McLaughlin back to Carter. Carter now down to Barboa Watson in the post. Going up strong. Gets it to go, and Barboa Watson finishes for 2. To give the Cougars their largest lead of the night by 9. And the bench loves it. It's now McLeod driving. He's going to get it to Perry, and Barboa Watson gets it done on the other end with a big block on Perry. And then he gets in on the tip, going for the ball. And Barboa Watson is playing with a different kind of energy, going through with the tough contact, getting the layup to go, gets a block shot, and gets in on an inbound, or excuse me, pass down to the post. And I know head coach David Duino has to love this energy he's getting out of Barboa Watson. As the Cougars trying to tack on to the lead that they have built. McLeod now driving through, gets the layup to go. That's going to be a warning to McLeod. I believe he threw the ball to Lewis. As this game's getting a little chippy back and forth. Energy is high for both squads. The Cougars still with the 7-point lead. Just under 13 minutes left to play in the second half. Now Roel over to Lewis. Lewis back to Roel. Roel looking down to the post. Just going to swing it back across the three-point line. There's a shot clock issue here with 12 minutes and 39 seconds left to go. It's going to reset to 10 here. So the Cougars have to make quick work of this play call as Roel sets his feet, passes it over to Lewis. Lewis sets his feet now, but long rebound gets it out. I believe the horn went off for the shot clock. So the Cougars will keep possession here, up 7. Lewis getting it down to McLaughlin. He kicks it out to Roel. Roel sets his feet, three-point shot, rolls in, and that's good. Now the Cougars take their largest lead of the night, double digits. 10-point lead here for the Cougars. Perry now with the ball here for the Wildcats. He's working in on McLaughlin. McLaughlin playing close defense. Nice defense by McLaughlin, getting the steal. And now the Cougars pushing the other way. McLaughlin was going for the oop, got a little bit far out. Step back for Carter. Carter now for 3 is good. And that's now a 13-point lead for the Cougars. And you see them starting to get a little rowdy here as the Cougars are getting it going here, building the momentum, getting the shots to go. And it all started with number 44, Barboa Watson, showing his energy and playing with the energy that he has been getting this Cougar squad going as he tries to close out there. So this brings in Sellers and also Paulden. This brings in Sellers, Paulden, Milton, and Hodges. Now Kreider, also Ferguson in the game here. Now McLeod getting to Verling. McLeod looping around, driving through. A lot of contact. They don't call the charge. I believe he was in the restricted area. So it's going to be a blocking foul. So McLeod gets the layup to go, and he has a chance to make it a three-point play here. And he's got a chance with this free throw to cut it back to 10. The free throw's good there for McLeod. Now Perry checks back into the game, taking out McLeod. So now Milton swinging it over to Carter. Carter down to Paulden, back out to Milton. Had a wide open shot, but he's waiting for something else to open up. Taking his time here and no rush. Up 10. As he sets his feet and takes that one, and the patience paid off there for Milton. The catch and shoot bucket goes to take back a 13-point lead. And now Goodman driving through, a lot of contact. And the putback by Verling is no good. The Sellers gets up on the rebound. And Perry's going to get hit with the foul coming down on Sellers after the rebound. So the Cougars now, after another defensive stand, is up now 13 points. With the possession to try to tack on top of that, it's now Hodges on the wing over the Carter. Carter now to Milton. Now Carter sets his feet, gets the three to go, and he's been shooting excellent from the three-point line here for the Cougars as he gets another three to go, and now a 16-point lead for the Cougars. It's Goodman, his layup attempts off the mark, rebounded again by Sellers. Milton thought about the corner three, did not take it, gets it back out to Hodges. Carter gonna get it back to Hodges. Cougars just taking their time, waiting for another shot to open up here. Paulden back out to Milton. Hodges sets his feet, takes a deep three off the mark. And Verling comes down with the rebound. Now the Wildcats trying to push the tempo the other way. Goodman with the ball gets it to Ferguson. Ferguson thought about the three, didn't take it, goes up with a layup. A lot of contact, no call. It's going to be tipped out by the Cougars, and the Wildcats will keep possession. And there's just been a scoring clinic all over the place for the Cougars. No man really standing out. Milton has 10 points, but you have also Sellers with 6, Hodges with 6, Lewis with 8, Carter with 6, and also Roel with 8. So it's been well-rounding scoring for the Cougars. The Sellers goes up and gets a block for the Cougars. Another defensive stand here. Lewis now to McLaughlin, back to Lewis, over to Milton. Back down to Lewis. He gets it to McLaughlin through contact, can't get it to go. And Wagner comes up with the rebound. I believe they're going to hit McLaughlin for a foul, trying to go up for that rebound as well. So the Cougars so far in this one have been able to take advantage of the zone and get the ball into different hands in order to score. Still leading the way here for the Wildcats is McLeod with 14, number 3. He's currently on the bench right now. Now Ferguson driving through. He has 7. Driving through, make that 9. He brings it back within 14 with 8 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the second half. Now Sellers back to Milton over to Carter. Carter sets his feet, takes another 3. This one off the mark, but Sellers down low to get the rebound. And the Cougars get another opportunity to reset here, take some time off the clock, and get a second chance at some points. Now Milton back to Lewis on the left side. He gets it down to Sellers. Sellers' pass is tipped and ends up in the hands of the Wildcats, so they will be pushing the other way. This is number 10, Ryan Davis, who came up with the ball here for the Wildcats. Now Wagner gets it over to Davis. Davis now back to Graham. Over to Ferguson. Ferguson now driving through, working on Lewis. He gets the hook shot to go. It's going to be off the front of the rim and rebounded by Lewis. And Cougars still holding up defensively here. And nice passing by the Cougars. Get an open 3. This time Lewis off the mark, rebounded by Perry. Perry now pushing the floor here for the Wildcats. Gets it down to Wagner. Pass is going to be too deep and out of bounds for Wagner. And we got a timeout on the floor with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the second half. The Cougars up 50-36. We'll be right back with the Averett Sports Network.
Inclusive, encompassing, inspiring. Averett University provides all you need for a future you deserve through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs, like our newest programs in entrepreneurship and psychology, with more coming soon. With affordable tuition and 24/7 support, it all leads to you becoming a catalyst for positive change. Visit allaverett.com. Averett University. Are you all in?
And we are back with Averett Sports Network here. The Cougars on top, 14 points over the Wildcats. The Cougars already with 10 threes so far this game. This is a season high for them as they're trying to tack on here with more threes, trying to beat that zone. Now Lawrence driving through, gets a tough bucket, and extends the lead out to 16 with just under 7 minutes left to go. As the Cougars have came in and absolutely been able to take advantage of this zone here. As McLeod was trying to drive through, mishandles the ball, step back jumpers off the mark. And the Cougars end up with the rebound here. Pass to Lawrence, though, is intercepted there by Ferguson. And the Wildcats get the ball back. McLeod now driving through. Looked like he was going to be ripped by Hodges, but I believe they're going to call a foul, a reach-in foul. They're going to get Hodges for a reach-in foul. Here's his second of the game. It's going to lead to another timeout. So we'll be right back after this short timeout with Averett Sports Network.
University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
And we are back with Averett Sports Network here. 6 minutes and 11 seconds left in the second half. The Cougars still holding on to a 16-point lead. So now the Wildcats here to set up their offense. McLeod driving through. He gets it back out to Ferguson. Ferguson takes a deep three here. It's going to be off the mark, rebounded by Perry. Perry now gets it back out to McLeod. McLeod defended closely by Hodges. He gets it out to Perry. Perry takes a three of his own. It's going to be off the mark. And the call is going to give the Cougars the ball here. So the Cougars yet again, another defensive stop here. Playing great defense tonight as Hodges now with the ball. Draws a foul on McLeod. That's only his first of the game, so that's good news for the Wildcats as he's their leading scorer. So if they're going to try to make a run at this, they don't have to worry about him being in foul trouble. So now the Cougars back to passing around. As Milton, great effort to keep dribbling that ball as the charge was trying to be drawn there by McLeod. And another great play by Barboa Watson going up for the rebound, got ripped away. And on the second chance, not giving up on the play, went and go throw the ball in off of Ferguson, so it will stay possession here for the Cougars. And Barboa Watson might not be lighting up the score sheet, but his effort has really been a difference maker here for these Cougars. It's now Lawrence driving through, another layup here. For Lawrence to now take an 18-point lead for the Cougars. And great defense by Hodges. And it looked like the ball possibly went out on Goodman. But they're going to say it went out on Hodges. So possession will stay with the Wildcats. Close call there. I don't have the best look from down here. McLeod taking the mid-range shots off the mark. Rebounded by Ferguson. Ferguson goes up and gets the second chance effort points to go to bring it back within 16. Just under now 5 minutes left to go in the second half. Wildcats have to get going here if they're going to try to pull this one back in with enough time. Cougars methodically just passing the ball around, trying to kill time here, making the most out of the shot clock as Lawrence now driving through again. Nice move, this time blocked by Jamison, but he's going to draw the foul. And he's going to go to the line to shoot two here. So Lawrence now to shoot free throws. His first free throw is going to be good to extend the lead out to 17 points here for the Cougars. Second free throw by Lawrence is going to bounce out. Ferguson with, excuse me, not Ferguson for the Wildcats. Couple of players from both teams fighting for that rebound. But it goes out of bounds, I believe, on Barboa Watson, trying to fight for that rebound. So we'll go to the Wildcats. The Wildcats here with the offensive possession, trying to get back into this game. Goodman now driving through. I believe that was a blocking foul called on Barboa Watson on that wraparound trying to pick up on Goodman. Goodman with a lot of speed wrapping around. That's a hard block to pick up, or excuse me, a hard move to defend if you're a center trying to get out there and stay with that guard. It's now Perry driving in on Lawrence. Lawrence tries to draw the charge. I'm going to say he wasn't set, and that's going to be a blocking foul on Lawrence. It's going to be on the floor, though. So, inbound pass here for the Wildcats. McLeod defended closely by Carter. Great defense there by Watson, but they're going to get him for another foul. Crowd is not happy about that one, as it looked like it was good defense for Watson as he picks up his third. I don't know, a little questionable call there, but again, too close to call. Heads up call there by the ref. This will send Jamison to the line to shoot two. Cougars are now, or excuse me, the Wildcats are now in bonus. So this can be a real game changer here for the Wildcats. So first free throw is off the mark, and the Cougars will take back possession. So the call led to no points there for the Wildcats. Lawrence is going to set his feet, take a mid-range shot. It's going to be off the mark. Barboa Watson getting a hand. And Lawrence, great effort, keep it alive. Now the Cougars get another offensive rebound and another chance to wind down this clock and attack on some more points to this lead. Bounce pass to Milton on the right wing over to Lawrence. Lawrence now driving through, kicks it out to Carter. Carter sets his feet, catch and shoot is good for Carter. He hits his third three of the game to make it now a 20-point game. As Sellers checks back into the game here for the Cougars. And Wagner comes back into the game for Jamison. And we're going to have a full timeout here for Randolph. So we'll be right back here with Averett Sports Network with the remaining of the second half after this short break.
Inclusive, encompassing, inspiring. Averett University provides all you need for a future you deserve through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs like our newest programs in entrepreneurship and psychology, with more coming soon. With affordable tuition and 24/7 support, it all leads to you becoming a catalyst for positive change. Visit allaverett.com. Averett University. Are you all in?
We are back with Averett Sports Network here. The Wildcats desperately trying to get this one back in reach. The Cougars have pulled out all momentum here in the second half, taking a 20-point lead. The Cougars still playing aggressive defense here. It's now McLeod. Great defense by the Cougars. Now 5 seconds on the shot clock. Ferguson driving through, blocked by Sellers. I believe that was a block. Looked like he got a hand in on it. Now the Cougars get the ball back here, and they're just going to try to run down the clock here. They already have a 20-point lead. There's only 2 minutes and 28 seconds left in the second half. So no need to rush here. Just waste as much clock as you can. now 3 seconds left. Carter step back jumper. He's going to be off the mark, rebounded by Wagner. But great heads-up play by Lewis to poke it out of Wagner, who had no clue he was right behind him, and the Cougars get the ball right back to chew up some more clock here. Sellers now to Carter. Carter is protecting the ball here over to McLaughlin. Now Lewis wide open in the corner. It's going to be off the mark, rebounded by Wagner. And again, the Cougars just playing aggressive. They're going to play defense until the clock strikes 0 here. As Ferguson hits the three-point shot. I believe it's going to be a full timeout, so we'll be right back here with the remaining minute and 33 seconds of the second half after this timeout.
University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
And we are back here after the timeout. A minute and 35 seconds left to go in this matchup. The Cougars with the ball here. Now a 17-point lead. Ferguson hit a three-point shot, and we're about to have a slam here by Sellers. Completely forgotten about on the inbound there to bring it back out to 19 points. It's now McLeod driving through. It's going to be blocked by Sellers, and the Cougars continuing this defense as Lawrence tries to go up and under there. It's off the mark. The Wildcats still not taking their foot off the pedal. Behind the back pass by McLeod, trying to get the parry. He's going to be kicked. It's going to be a kickball violation. It's going to reset here for the Wildcats on an inbound pass. As Lawrence now out the game. Back in the game is McLaughlin. It's now Perry over to Goodman. Goodman now wrapping around. He puts a floater up. It's going to be off the mark. It's going to be out of bounds. Gives the Cougar back possession. And this is simply to keep McLaughlin in for defense and keep Jim Lawrence, one of the better shooters on the team, in for offense in case of foul, if they're going to elect a foul here. Sellers again, another bang. To get it now up to 21 points. The Wildcats clearing the bench here. It's now Graham back into the game. Also into the game is going to be 14, Zach Lohman. Number 10, Ryan Davis into the game. Also number 20, Chase Shages back in, or into the game for the first time tonight. And also number 2, Ryan Henke. The Cougars in the press. Force a violation here and get the ball right back. You got to think this is about all she wrote. 21-point lead, only 31 seconds left. And all it is just running out the clock here. Carter wide open, tries to add on, off the mark. Lawrence gets the rebound. And now it's nothing but the clock. No shot clock left. So Milton's going to dribble this one out. And the Cougars take a commanding victory here in the Grant Center. Wins over the Wildcats 62-41 here in the Grant Center. The Cougars will go on to face Roanoke at Roanoke on the 4th on the road. They will be back here in the Grant Center on the 11th versus Eastern Mennonite. So this has been Averett Sports Network. My name's Chris Richmond, and always remember, roll Cougs.